The Congress of Vienna started in 1815 with the four powers known as Russia, Great Britain, Prussia, and of course Austria. All leaders of Europe gathered to discuss the future of Europe. They stayed in Vienna for a year, interacting with one another and exchanging ideas on how to lead their people. The alliances between these four countries began after Napoleon's surrender when they came to Vienna, Austria, to try to restore order in Europe that was lost during the French Revolution. The main goals were to undo the destruction and reign of terror caused by the French Revolution and avoid making the same mistakes by coming up with ideas and new rules for European leaders to enforce. The Congress of Vienna also set out to end and prevent nationalistic pride amongst the citizens of Europe. Nationalism was believed to be the cause and motivation that sparks rebellions. The French Revolution was an example of a nationalistic movement that caused disorder among all of Europe. Nationalism although motivated citizens to love their country, it also caused them to target the higher classes in order to create a more equal and democratic government style in society. This overrode the balance of power that philosophers like Metternich believed that was the glue that held Europe together. The Quadruple Alliance defeated Napoleon because he was threatening the balance of power.
Napoleon's empire began to collapse faster and faster each day after he is exiled to Elba. This leaves France without a leader to help guide them. With the losing country in any meeting, France was later included in the Congress of Vienna to be able to move on to the path of re-establishing a stable and prosperous Europe. The Congress of Vienna was led by Prince Clemens von Metternich, the foreign minister of Austria. It was also led by Tsar Alexander I of Russia, Frederick William III, Karl Prince von Hardenberg, and Viscount Castleberg. But Metternich brought them together. He interested them and pulled them in with the ideas he had for the future of Europe. He encouraged the idea of going back to a monarchy, although that is what the French peasants were trying to get rid of for a more democratic government style. Metternich once said, "In Europe, democracy is a falsehood. I do not know where it will end, but it cannot end in a quiet old age." Metternich also emphasizes the philosophy of conservatism, which he believed would stabilize Europe again. Conservatism is a political philosophy based on tradition and social stability, stressing established institutions and preferring gradual development to abrupt change. This political philosophy would draw upon older traditions of governing and ruling citizens. The leaders of Europe were then taught new rules to enforce in their countries. Metternich believed that going back to the old ways and creating institutions would keep things stable and prevent any more radical movements. Later, on April 1815, Napoleon escapes Elba and takes over again for 111 days. He says, "Victory is not always winning the battle, but rising every time you fall." His return surprises the French until he is defeated in Waterloo by the Quadruple Alliance. Napoleon is then exiled again and sent to St. Helena, located in the South Atlantic.
On June 19, 1815, the final act of the Congress of Vienna is completed. This act, or collection of treaties, gave Russia and Prussia extra land after taking away some of France's territories. It also gave Europe a list of arrangements and rules to follow. The making of this act took a year to complete. In Article 116, the final act of the Congress of Vienna states that everything expressed in the preceding articles shall be settled by a general agreement, in which there shall also be comprised whatever may need an ulterior determination. The arrangement once settled shall not be changed, but by and with the consent of all the states bordering on rivers, and they shall take care to provide for its execution with due regard to circumstances and locality. European governments created a diplomatic system charged with the responsibility of enforcing intercontinental mandates and confirming the statuses of the great powers. The Congress of Vienna system served as a basis for the creation of the League of Nations and United Nations in the 20th century. It preserved the peace it was aiming to keep by negotiating with one another rather than starting a war. Historian Nicole Phelps argued that the Congress of Vienna was a success, but the success was partial, uneven, and certainly impermanent. There were many social issues that the Congress of Vienna could not address, merely because it was created to benefit higher classes. The Congress of Vienna created the Pax Britannia, which handed Britain the balance of power in the world. It also gave Austria most of northern Italy. However, the Congress of Vienna was the foundation that eventually led to the League of Nations, as well as negotiations opposed to unnecessary wars. It effectively secured European politics and international relations between global powers.